Devastating sad news for Britney Spears, plus Kevin Federline financial crisis. We got to talk about this, but before we get into it, hello, my name is Sebastian and I spill pop culture tea videos every single day. So if you're looking for a new messy best friend, you have found me. You guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are brand new, the whole vibes, it's like we're on a FaceTime call, basically, girl. We're just hanging out from my very sparkly closet, and we are just kind of keeping each other company at the end of the day, honey. Because the world can be a scary place, girl. Sometimes we just need a little love, okay? You guys, we got to talk about Miss Britney Jean Spears. First, let me get Kevin Jobless Federline out of the way for a second, okay? So Kevin Jobless Federline, he, in his book, I have to say, he says that with the $40,000, 20 in alimony and 20 in child care, whatever, spousal support and, whatever. The $40,000 that Britney Spears paid him for almost 20 years was not enough, and he was barely scraping by. So I just need to get this out of my system before we talk about Britney. Kevin, $40,000, okay, scraping by. You wouldn't have to scrape by, okay? If you would have had a fucking job, you fucking loser, okay? You should have gotten a job. Save those 40,000, save 20 for your children's future. Like, you are the most fucking lazy ass, poor excuse of a man, human being I've ever had to read about. You are so low, you are scum, and you have the audacity to say that with 40 you were scraping by. It is not our fault you have 1 billion children and no job, honey. You should have thought about that before you got all these people pregnant, okay? How about that? All right? So instead of golfing and instead of doing all the loser shit that you do, you should have gone on Craigslist and get yourself a damn job. And don't have the audacity to say in a book that's all about Britney that you were scraping by with $40. You are pathetic, okay? Now that I got that out of my system, Britney Spears opens up about brain damage, you guys. When it comes to Britney, I always say that, I definitely have a very soft spot, in my heart for her. And you guys know this, obviously. You guys know how I feel about Britney and how much I love her and how sad it makes me. All of this makes me so sad. Her life, her present is very sad. It makes me very sad because she shouldn't be like this. She shouldn't have to live this life that she is living. She shouldn't have to have gone through what she went through. She should not have done the things that she was forced to and go through. She's now opening up about brain damage. She writes, my back, my blades, my wings. Remember the movie Maleficent? Such an incredible movie. Remember the king tried to kill her. But instead, a guy secretly took her wings. But anything from the Father in heaven, the real Father, whom is the only one and only claim who loves unconditionally. Anything holy is never forgotten. Her wings were holy, so the king couldn't take them. Not one person could say they were restored and hidden, locked in a secret holy stained glass church. Not that this has any relevance with me, but I do find it incredibly interesting. I had a traumatic experience, as some of you know, at the end of my book, where for 4 months I no longer had my private door and illegally was forced to not use my feet or body to go anywhere. For a person like me who understands the sacredness is Godspeed. It did more than hurt my body. Trust me, there's a lot I didn't share in my book, and still things at this very moment I've kept hidden because it's incredibly painful and sad. I do feel the logic and mindfulness in my body as one was 100% murdered and destroyed. I couldn't dance or move for 5 months. Anyways, I know my pose and dancing seems silly, but it made me remember how to fly. I used to swim with my babies on my back till they were 4 and 5. I was incredibly strong. At the end of the movie, she goes to a church and somehow finds her wings. Her wings. Protector of the Moors, considered a villain but actually one with Mother Nature. Animals would bow to her. She was brilliant in that movie. I do feel like my wings were taken away and brain damage happened to me a long time ago, 100%. I have, of course, moved on from that troubling time in my life, and I'm blessed to be alive. I'm showing my back. One makeup artist said, "Don't you think it's too big? People are incredibly cruel. Still to this day, I haven't flown like I used to. Do you think if I go to the Vatican, I might find something quite interesting there?" It's fun to tell stories at this point because this all might sound so silly, but with that garbage literally, with what garbage literally is being said about me, I said, why not bring substance to the table? The Maleficent reference and the Tangled Rapunzel reference and the Frozen reference is very Britney. If you really think about it, I mean, in Frozen, she's hidden away because of her, her powers, right? She hides away from it. In Rapunzel, she's being, locked in the, in the thingy, in the tower. Never allowed to go anywhere. And Maleficent, she was clipped from her wings. Her wings was to be an entertainer, to be a mother, to be a regular human being. Over the weekend, I had a moment with a friend who decided to basically say that Britney was crazy, and I had to sit them down and explain to them why, in fact, I find it so offensive when people call her crazy. They don't realize that traumatic experiences really enable you to do normal things. And now I'm going to be honest with you guys. After, the losses I've had in my life, my brother, my grandmother, my stepdad, my best friend, and now my aunt, that all did something to me mentally. And then when the Los Angeles fires happened this year, in January, that did something to me, because we had to literally, you guys remember, we had to run and escape because our building was on fire. And I was literally running while behind me was just red, orange everywhere. So that definitely did something to me. And now I'm seeing the consequences of those things, where normal things create incredible stress in my mind and in my body. For example, going out, seeing friends, or attending an event, or anything that has to do with me leaving the house creates such crazy anxiety to me where I even get sick. And, I'm in therapy, luckily, and my therapist says that these type of reactions from traumatic experiences are very normal. And something so normal like going to a party shouldn't give me, crazy diarrhea. Do you know what I mean? Like TMI, but it makes me very anxious and nervous. When others, friends and family and husband, they're happy to go and they're excited to go, I'm just because I have a lot of social anxiety and I have a lot of fears because of this. And the reason I'm telling you all of this information is because traumatic experiences do cause you to change mentally, and they do cause you to shift. There's something in your mind that shifts, and I definitely shifted. I'm not the same as I used to be, and that is why when I look at Britney, I really understand her, because I'm like, after all of those traumatic 13 years that you've experienced, plus the time you were locked away, who wouldn't come out of that with some bruises and some scars, So that's why I'm always very, I'm always giving her so much grace and stuff, because it's just so crazy how people forget that, just because you might not feel a certain way or you haven't gone through certain things, that doesn't mean other people haven't. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know, best friend. I really feel like we have to be a little more human, and that's why, for example, I always say this, but when Hailey Bieber was pregnant, even though we're all not her biggest supporters, I was very, very, serious about, if I see anyone wishing ill will towards her or the baby, you're blocked automatically. I don't care. And we, as the public, looking from the outside, these celebrities, we forget they're humans. And because some haven't gone through such traumatic experiences in life, thank goodness, you don't know what it's like. But trauma can definitely shift who you are. And I really, really, really wish that people would give Britney Spears some more grace. So yeah, that's about it, best friend. I love her so much, and I'm praying that she is just strong. That's all I want for Britney, is for her to stay strong. So anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I do say that, if you've gone through traumatic experiences, my biggest advice is to please get help, because you deserve it. And you deserve to find that kind of inner peace. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm in therapy. I'm gonna see a psychiatrist very soon. They're talking about maybe some anti-anxiety meds, and I'm gonna be very open about it with you guys if I end up doing that. So it's all a journey. I mean, we're only human, and we need to just we just want to survive, and we just want to be the best we can. So anywho, love you guys so much. I know this week is going to be very blessed for all of us. It's going to be super amazing. Magical surprises are going to happen, and I love you all very much. Mwah.